The first maxi-scooter in India was not this. That title belongs to the Kinetic Blaze, which was a non-starter back in 2006. Here in 2018, Suzuki is playing their cards smartly. Just like they did with the Intruder 150, the Burgman Street borrows its name and design cues from the larger offerings in the international market. But underneath it all is the tried and tested hardware from the Suzuki Axis 125. At Rs 68,000, the Burgman Street is Rs 9,000 more expensive than the Axis. Only the Vespas are more expensive than it. So we asked you to design a road test that would show whether the premium is worth the ask. Naveen Narayan asked, is it the perfect head turner? Yes, this scooter turns a lot of heads. It's large and sleek, which gives it a solid road presence. Well, the Burgman is a bit longer and lower, which gives it a very different stance as compared to your average scooters. The sleek look starts right from the front apron with lots of sharp creases and protruding indicators to break the mass and give it a very stylish look. Unlike the bigger Burgmans, there is a fly screen here as well. Down to the side, you will also see a layer design which helps it look sleek despite the mass. Taming the Beast and Vivek Vansal asked if the design of the scooter looked proportional with respect to the rear wheel. No, it does not. The skinny 90 section 10-inch wheel looks out of place when compared to the bodywork, and that is the reason the scooter looks a bit awkward from the rear three quarters. Vishnu Gopal and Anirban Ghosh have a few doubts about the build quality of the Burgman, and given the excessive use of plastics in the bodywork, it's a fair question. While the build quality is top notch, plastics used everywhere are of good quality and there are no rattles or vibrations from the panels either. But at a few places there are a few panel gaps like on the footboard and the front apron. Now let's find out how the Burgman Street takes on the city duties. JJ Tech and Sukrit Kale wanted to know how practical the Burgman inside the city. And to answer that, we'll first answer Onkar and Akshay, who wanted to know how good is the under-seat storage and whether it will fit a full-size helmet. The 21.5 liters of under-seat storage is almost the same as the Axis and is ample for your knickknacks. It can hold large water bottles, grocery bags and a lot more. But sadly, it cannot fit a good full-size helmet. And while the under-seat storage is ample, it misses out on a boot light, which is a massive convenience at night. Not just the under-seat storage, but you also get a bottle holder which can easily hold a 1 liter bottle, and another cubby hole with a 12-volt socket and a lid which can easily hold your phone and wallet. And both of these are very helpful in the daily commute. Mohammad Khalid wants to know how accommodating is the seat height for taller riders, and Ross Face wants to know whether it would be comfortable for the female members of his family, which I can break down to seat height and curb weight. The Burgman seat height is 780 mm, which is not too tall. However, it is a wide seat and that makes the reach to the ground a little longer. The result is that it's not the most comfortable for shorter riders. If you are less than 5.5 feet, you might only be able to get your toes to the ground. I am 5 feet 6 inches tall and can almost get my feet flat on the ground, but for someone taller, it should be fairly comfortable. As for weight, the Burgman tips the scales at 108 kg, which is pretty light. For reference, 1 kg heavier than the Grazia and 8 kg lighter than the N-Torque. On the move, it feels light and easy to steer. Also helping the Burgman in the city is the sharp turning radius, which lets you make quick U-turns and cut through traffic. Ross Waves and Taranshu wanted to know, how do these LED headlamps perform? The headlamp does a good job of lighting up the road ahead, on par with the halogen counterparts in the market, but it's not as good as the LED lamps of the Activa 5G. Nevertheless, you have a smart looking pilot lamp, possibly the best in the segment. Now, it's time to hit the scooter's natural habitat, the city. Next up, Nitesh and Nimesh wanted to know how the suspension has been tuned for city and broken roads. The suspension of the Burgman is a little stiff. On broken roads, this becomes more apparent. But the plush seat does soften the blow inside the city. It rides on par with the Axis, but is not as plush as the TVS N-Torque. Also, despite of its bulky looks, the Burgman is quite easy to fit into parking spaces thanks to its tight turning radius. Feroz, Wahid and Taranshu wanted to know how comfortable is it on the highways. Very. The forward head full position allows you to stretch out and the tall handlebars give you a rather relaxed riding position. Along with the seat, the Burgman feels fantastic for highways. It remains stable, comfortable and the motor too remains stress-free till 60 km an hour. In fact, the Burgman has been my personal most comfortable highway testing experience in a long time. Santanu, Dheeraj and Trayambak wanted to know how does the scooter handle in traffic? Well, it is as good as any other scooter. Yes, it does look bulky, but it's not heavy and while on the go, it feels natural, flickable and peppy. But on twisty roads, we wish the Burgman had a bigger rear tire like the Entoc or the Aprilias for a more confident and fun experience. And when it comes to pillion comfort, the Burgman's long and wide seat has a lot of room for the pillion, even if he or she is of a larger frame. And with the added weight, the suspension too becomes supple and improves the ride quality. Aditya, Faraz, Suraj and Anirban wanted to know how good is the performance. Well, here we are in for a big surprise because the Burgman doesn't feel as fast as the Axis. Yes, it is 7 kg heavier and on paper, the Burgman shares its engine specifications with the Axis. But when we tested it, the Burgman proved to be faster than the Axis to 60 km an hour, and that's very impressive. The motor feels very refined till speeds close to 70 km an hour and then starts to feel a little strained. But it feels very smooth in steady speeds and even though it misses out on the grunt of the Axis, it does not leave you complaining. And when it comes to the braking performance, the Suzuki Burgman does lack feedback from the levers, but the combined braking system does help you get to a stop quickly and safely. And that brings us to the Burgman Street manages to return close to 55 km per litre both in the city and on the highway. This makes it the most efficient 125cc scooter that we have tested. And with a tank capacity of 5.6 litres, you are looking at close to 300 km between fillings. Next up, I am Milind and Shubham wanted to know why should they pick the Burgman Street over the Axis? And that is because the Burgman Street looks better, it is more comfortable because of the wider seat and the flexible foot position, it offers you better cubby holes, it's more refined, better performance and is even offering you better efficiency. So if you want a scooter that stands out, the Burgman it is. Well, that brings us to Leslie D'Souza and Harshit Paniwal asking us if this is worth the big price tag. Yes, the Rupee 9,000 premium is a lot, but it can be justified considering that the Burgman is a premium offering. The Burgman Street has won us over with its looks, comfort, ease of riding and the added convenience. To top it all off, it is also offering you more refinement, performance and efficiency. So if you are looking for a premium scooter, not just a 125, a proper premium offering that is as useful and sensible that a scooter should be, then the Burgman Street is certainly a front runner. A lot of you have been asking us to compare this to the TVS Entoc, and to answer those questions, we are coming up with a proper comparison video. So stay tuned and subscribe to the ZigWheels channel.